Hello, today we're going to be dividing mixed numbers with fractions, or we're going to be dividing a mixed number by a mixed number. We're also going to be demonstrating how to do this process through modeling. The essential question that you should be able to answer by the time we're done today is, how can you model division by a mixed number? This is from our textbook, Big Ideas Math, pages 72 and 73. If at any time you get behind in the notes and you need to pause them so that you can write in the missing information, please feel free to do so. And if you have any questions at the end, you can always email me or come in and see me before or after school. Here we go. Dividing mixed numbers. So there's 3 steps that you need to remember. The first thing you need to remember is you need to write each mixed number as an improper fraction. So you always convert whatever mixed number you have to an improper fraction. So let's look at what that would look like. If I had the problem, find 2 1/4 divided by 3/8. Box that because my question. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to, step 1, convert 2 1/4 to a mixed number. And I do that by going whole number times the denominator plus the numerator. So it would be 2 times 4, which is 8, plus 1, which is 9. And that becomes the new numerator. Your denominator stays the same. So that's step 1. Step 2, we are going to divide the fractions, and we're going to use a system where we remember we do keep the first fraction the same, change the operation, and then finally flip to the reciprocal. So let's look at that and do that. Second step. Keep the first fraction the same. Change from division to multiplication. And flip this fraction to the reciprocal. So flip the denominator and the numerator. So we have 8/3. Now we're going to divide. Well, in this case, because we've flipped the operation, we're going to multiply. And I'm going to look and see if there's any products that I can pull out, factors I can pull out so that I can make it simple before I multiply. And I look and I can see that if I have this 9 and this 3, I can pull that out and divide both by 3, and I can get 3, because 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. I could also pull out of here the 4 divided by 4 is 1, 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now I can multiply straight across. 3 times 2 is 6, over 1 times 1 is 1. Which brings me to the next.
Good morning, Dartmouth. If anyone has lost a cell phone Friday afternoon, please report to the office to Ms. Lori. Once again, if anyone has lost a cell phone Friday afternoon, please report to the office to Ms. Lori.
I apologize for that in the notes. Continuing on. Now our next step that we're going to do is we are going to do step number 3, which is always simplify or convert back to a fraction, a regular proper fraction, or a mixed number. In this case, we would just look at how many times can 1 go into 6. Well, in that situation, it can go in 6 times, so our answer would be 6. Now, this, everybody, is the standard algorithm. This is the standard algorithm. Now, I'm going to show you how we can model that. So to model it, I'm going to create a bar, like a tape diagram of 3 different bars. So each of these 3 different bars represents one whole. Now remember, I'm doing 2 1/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide these into 4 so I can show what 2 1/4 would look like. To do that, I'm going to divide them in half. And then I can divide it into halves again. Now each of my wholes is divided into 4. And I'm going to show that I have 1, 2 wholes, and then I've got 1/4 more, so that would be this piece right here. And that signifies from here to here signifies 2 1/4. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show, we're going to divide this now into 3/8 because we want to divide that by 3/8. So I've got to divide these sections into eighths. Well, if they're already in fourths, I know that if I divide a fourth in half, I'm going to get an eighth. So I can just take each of these pieces and divide them. So now I've divided them all into eighths. And so what I need to do next is to count how many times 3/8 can go into it. So I'm just going to count my eighths. So I've got 1, 2, 3. This is 1/3 piece. 1, 2, 3. This is 2 3/8 pieces. 1, 2, 3. 3 3/8 pieces. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3. 5. 1, 2, 3. And I have 6 3/8 pieces. So this tells me that 2 1/4 divided by 3/8 equals 6, and we proved that using the standard algorithm and the model. Now the next thing we're going to show you is how we can do dividing a mixed number by a mixed number. So the key to this, everybody, is you just want to make sure you convert all mixed numbers to improper fractions before you divide. Okay, now for sake of space, I'm going to actually move over to the left to page 28 because I'm afraid I'm not going to have enough space. Oh, I forgot to cover that. So if you want to pause so you can write that down, you can. I'm actually going to move over, like I said, to page 28. So on page 28, I'm going to do find 3 5/6 divided by 1 2/3. Like I said, first I'm going to change both from mixed numbers into improper fractions. So to do that, remember we take the whole number, multiply it by the denominator, so 3 times 6 is 18, and add our numerator plus 5, which would be 23. Keep our denominator the same. Now we get another one. We go 1 times 3, which is 3, plus the 2, which is 5. Keep your denominator the same. So now I have 23 over 6 divided by 5 over 3. That's the first step. Step 2, you're going to do keep, change, flip. Okay? So we're going to keep the first fraction the same, 23 over 6. That is the keep part. Then we're going to change our operation from division to multiplication. And this is our change part. And then we're going to flip our fraction, the second fraction, from 5 over 3 to 3 over 5, which is the reciprocal. This is your flip part. And looking at this, I'm going to see if there's anything that I can pull out, and I can pull out this 6 and this 3, and I can change 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and now let's multiply straight across. I've got 23 times 1 is 23 over 2 times 5, which is 10. And so now I'm at my last part of this process, which is to convert 23 over 10 back into a mixed number. To do that, I'm going to say, how many times can 23 be divided by 10? Well, I know that it can go in twice. 2 times 10 is 20, which means I have a remainder of 3. So I'm going to write that as 2 wholes and 3 tenths left over. Use this over this, and that becomes your answer. Like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to go back, rewatch the notes. Also, you can email me or come and see me. I hope this is clear. Have a wonderful day.